Today we are presenting the new release from Roland, the Juno-D. It's a great stage piano.
It's a synthesizer.
No, it's a stage piano.
It's a synthesizer.
No, this is a... Hi, this is Ted Barsley with Alamo Piano Galleries.
And I'm Roland Perez from the Alamo Music Sound Lab.
And we have Roland's new, not this Roland, Roland's new Juno-D keyboard. And there's some disagreement here. I think it's a stage piano, but then when I started looking at past the keyboard sounds, it turned into this phenomenal thing.
Well, it's got 3,800 sounds in it, and a lot of those are pianos, but there's a lot of synthy stuff in there as well.
Okay, I said stage piano for this reason. This was just my take on it. The first 20 some odd things are pianos. Yeah. And it goes from grand piano to upright to stuff with effects in it right away. So It's like those sounds are set up to where it's almost like a set list, like a song set list. You know, the sounds are right there up front, the first couple of them, and they're preloaded. And then right after that, it goes straight into Rhodes, Whirlies, Tyne type sounds, and those have like effects in them and everything. So it's like really designed, I thought, as a stage piano. So you can just go from keyboard to keyboard to keyboard sound or stack them up.
Absolutely. And the fact that each one of these little tabs here is a category is super easy when you're jamming out live and you're with the band. You want to get to a different category, different sound. You click on whatever corresponds, like choirs, synthesizer, pads, strings, brass, or the piano thing. So it's easily laid out.
I can't say enough about that because some of the other ones, they just go like 1 through 100 in their piano sounds, and you have to remember which numbers they are on some of the keyboards. And I'm not picking on anyone in particular, but finding the sound that you want in the time that you need between takes at a gig or in a studio, I mean, it's a lot easier than it used to be, 30, 40 years ago. You had to program everything. There was no presets. So presets spoiled everyone.
Right.
And now I'm making videos for a generation that that is now learning how presets are disappearing.
Right.
Based on just trend of 1 through 3,800, all these sounds, you just pick a number.
Oh, like a software program. There's thousands of presets in a software program. It's kind of like the same thing with this. But they did make it easy to navigate. That's the good part.
It's very easy to navigate. And in fact, it's so easy to navigate, I was just going through the sounds. I never even modified a single sound that came up.
Wow.
And that's one thing I wanted to point out is this is not just a stage piano, get the sound and play with it. I demoed it that way. However, there are 4 different categories which can come down to being like the parts of the drawbars, parts of the mixes, and then it also has like how parts of the different keyboard can be affected.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's layers on here. So you could do like an upper, lower, you could stack them both, and each one of these sliders can determine what the sound, what the volume is for the lower or the upper sound. So that's kind of cool. Again, on the fly, live, awesome.
Okay, I have a question that I did not even get into. This section over here, it looked a little bit, it said pads, it had like phrase pads on there, and I thought, you know what, I wonder if that's the drum machine part or if it's the sequencer.
It's really all of the above. So yeah, each one of these can be a sequencer kind of function, or it could be like little drum pads for like kick, snare, hi-hat, and so on. But what's also really cool about this is that you can load in your own AIFF or wave samples, whatever they might be, loops, vocal takes, or single shots, and land them on the pad so that when you're jamming live and you want to integrate something cool, tap the pad. It's all there.
That's amazing. And that's part of what it's a synthesizer or a keyboard. Down here in the preset section, there are some things that I've never really seen on a keyboard before, which means this thing is even advanced more than a synthesizer. It's got this sample piece down here. It's got some other things. I can't read them upside down.
Vocoder,
but
right.
Yeah, that to me is like the vocoder. Immediately I thought, whoa. And here it is. It's got a volume control and a microphone input.
XLR, yeah.
So the inputs on the back are kind of fascinating. It's got headphones for out, and then it has these inputs, which I really like. Besides the microphone, you have like just a little mini jack, a stereo mini jack. Then you have the outputs here, so you can actually run things through.
Sure,
the keyboard as well.
Absolutely.
And then it also has MIDI in and out, and then it has all the pedal connections, as well as the USB ports and everything. So the connections in the back are great.
Yes.
And this is a multi use keyboard. You could use this on a stage. You could use it as part of only percussion. You could just go out and do percussion. Now, what I liked about it is it's real easy to get to the celeste sounds because not too many keyboards. Some keyboards have it in there, but when you go to look for it, it's really a hassle.
Right.
And these are great sounding celeste. I mean, it's wonderful and it's straight out of, I mean, it'd be perfect. This keyboard, sometimes we have had orchestras and presentation groups come in just to buy this for, I can't think of what they've run every Christmas. What is it?
Oh,
Peter and the Wolf, and
Right,
they have all.
right.
That's where the celeste sound comes in. And so a lot of times, even a live orchestra, if they're a smaller scale live orchestra and they don't have access to purchasing a true original celeste, they can get away with using these sounds. That we've had a number of shows, traveling shows, and orchestras that do that for.
Was, you know, speaking of
Nutcracker
traveling
and-
shows, this, I don't know if you know this, but on this particular keyboard, one of the things that they added in comparison to the last version of the Juno is that you can power it off a USB-C battery. So you could lose the wall wart and battery power this thing and just take it wherever you want to go.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of cool.
And now, have you actually tried that yet? Because a
I've
lot of times
not
I do
tried
it,
it.
and it'll wait to where the battery pack starts wearing down. You get a little bit of distortion and stuff like that. Sometimes.
You know, I have not tried it out yet, but you know, I got to say, with the text at Roland, I don't think it's a big. I mean, I'm sure past X amount of time, like an hour or so, you might get that, but I think it should last at least an hour. I couldn't see why it wouldn't.
That's pretty cool. I did not know about that. So when I went in to demo this thing, I was thinking the whole time, this is a great synthesizer plus other things that you can interface with and interact in a studio, but it's still a great stage piano. And matter of fact, it's really a great stage piano. I went in and stuck with the sounds that I normally stick with, which are going to be the predominant keyboard sounds. Some of them I missed entirely because there's so many other cool things in here. But we're going to go in and have a listen to this somewhat very limited demo. I went with the stage. And when we come back, Roland's going to maybe fill us in on a little bit more about what the synthesizer part is. So let's go ahead and have us a listen. Now, what I was really impressed with this keyboard, and I'm going to tell you a couple favorite things I had so far. Notice I said keyboard, because I'm going to ask you for some specs on the synth part in a second. But what I wanted to get at is I found what I was looking for, and I think in here they call it the J800 piano.
JD800.
JD800.
Yeah.
That's that mid-range, almost real sounding piano that Elton has sitting in the middle of his mix.
Yeah. It's got
That's
some
the
bright
one.
tone.
It's like a mid-range type thing that makes this section, which is really, if you think about it, Elton's vocal area,
Right.
stand out in the mid-range is just a tad bit brighter.
That is
and
so
the first
true.
time I heard that, I thought, you know what? I know he's got to do that so he can actually hear where his voice is at and all the arrangement. Because when you're playing live and you think you're singing great and then you hear a playback from
Oh, boy.
it's like,
Yeah.
man, and I was really in the moment, and I thought I was nailing that note, and then you hear the guitar guy comes in, and so a lot of times that's always it's
Oh, I'm guilty of that one.
yeah. So, and I noticed it had a bunch of other. I was kind of surprised because as I was going through some of the electric piano sounds, and then they went into some of the Roland, keyboard sounds that are standard. There's a number of those Elton John sounds in here.
There's a lot
that
of
go
that.
back to his Roland years, and that I thought was pretty cool. Now, what I also recognized is that when they put the effects on these things, the effects are really effective. You have all this control with it over here, and that includes, what I liked about it is it includes the speed on the Leslie for
Oh, yeah.
the Roland samples.
Absolutely.
And it just has the right amount of delay.
Yes.
It's not immediate. Sometimes you go to like turn the vibrato on, and the second you think about it, it starts speeding up. This one here is like kind of like getting that motor going.
Like the real deal.
Yeah, like the real
Yeah.
deal. It doesn't respond immediately. So that I really enjoyed. The other thing was the quality of the sounds, particularly the clavinets were so authentic sounding on this.
Yeah.
And some keyboards, they have that clavinet sound and they put the effects on it and it loses some of the, the authentic sound of a real string on a piezo pickup kind of thing.
Right.
So with some of the synth sounds, what I noticed is the strings are great, and that's about the time where I started to kind of run out of the demo because some of these sounds were getting into really true synth sounds, and those were incredible. I didn't demo tons of them, but I'm just amazed at this detail. I was telling you down here they actually have a sample section, and then there's a vocoder section, and there's some really neat synth type of things. Which really puts this keyboard right in the middle between stage piano and studio synth quality.
I agree. Absolutely. So here's the thing. This Juno-D, there's a long lineage of Juno keyboards that have been out throughout the decades, right? This particular one, I think, is the biggest advance in kind of like the portable stage piano synthesizer kind of thing, because it's got that really cool hammer action. So that's
Right.
number one. That's where you want to be if you're playing live and you're used to playing an 88 key bed. This one feels really good. It feels really authentic. It's responsive to touch. I love it. But on top of that, you get the 3800 sounds, and a lot of those sounds are from the Zen Core technology. So Zen Core is this thing they've been doing for a few years now, and it's really, really authentic, true sounding emulations of what those things were. For example, analog synthesizers or acoustic pianos and so on and so on. Well, that's in here. And with the Zen Core technology in it, it's always upgradable. There's expansion packs you can pick up on the Roland website and load them in, no problem. Another advance they made off the previous Juno 88 is the screen looks a whole lot better. If you remember the last version of this, the screen was a little bit, hard to navigate, hard to see live in a small club that has really bad lighting. Not anymore. You've got a really cool color screen. It's really a nice contrast to what the previous version was. Easy to find, easy to navigate, and just a really cool look to it. The build quality, I think, is also a step up compared to the previous version. So I think all in all, the layout they've done, the build quality, the action, and the sound engine make this in my honest opinion, their best effort at the Juno Modern series. It's really a cool keyboard.
I was fascinated with it. I liked it a lot. It's not real heavy. It's perfect for gigging. It's perfect for picking up and going, but it plays great. It gives you that solid foundation. And this thing about the screen, when you're playing live, it's amazing the amount of time you spend looking at that screen.
Right.
And what I don't know with younger players, with geezers like me, when I'm looking at that thing, it's like, if it doesn't say that sound, something's going to go wrong. Because, you know, the old gear in the 70s, something always went wrong in the middle of a song,
Sure.
or a performance. So when you're looking down, all you're doing is gaining confidence that, hey man, this thing is putting out, it's performing, it's doing what it's supposed to do. And as your confidence goes up in your gear, your performance quality skyrockets because you're like, man, this is great stuff. And it's filling in all the spots that I need filled in to gain my confidence in this one performance.
True that, for sure.
And that's really, you know, you're using it live in a live setting, or you're using it in a studio setting. But where I think a lot of these new keyboards, particularly from Roland, this one I will say is that if you're working in some kind of creative environment with other musicians and say, hey, can you get a sound that's like this? That's when these instruments become a lot of fun. When you're putting together helping some guy come up with his original concept of a sound, and he says, or a song, I want this kind of keyboard in it. And you can go immediately from 3,800 down to about 50, down to about 10, down to about 5, and then he'll find the sound he wants in no time, and not have to reprogram to do it.
I agree, and the quality of the sounds is really awesome.
It's debatable. Most people, I thought, okay, what's a great string sound? I went through there, and they were all great.
Yeah.
It depended on what the line is that you're going to run, or if is it a background pad sound. The Roland Juno-D, I think, is a phenomenal keyboard. We're going to have to come back and revisit it. I want to do vocoder stuff in it. Matter of fact, this is about the second or third keyboard that we discussed plugging in a microphone. So we should have a video coming up before too long called Microphone Sessions, where we run mics through here.
Oh, totally.
And do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And with that, remind you, I don't think I ever said it at the beginning, I'm Ted Barsley with Alamo Piano Galleries. You can find us online at alamopianogalleries.com. You can find out purchase information and more detailed technical information on this Roland Juno-D stage piano.
Synthesizer, both.
We'll be looking for you next time, and thank you so much for your attention. If you get a chance to go in and check out a Roland Juno-D, please do so at your local music dealer. We'll talk to you soon.